What's going on, guys? I came across a really interesting book, and I read a lot of obscure books about billionaires, people who've succeeded. And this book's about Ronald Perelman. He ended up building up the took over and built up the Revlon fortune. And one of the central themes of this book is that he made $1 billion. He built up $1 billion fortune in 15 years. So my question is this, okay? And I'm asking this to myself, ask this to yourself, ask this for yourself. I mean, if he can build up a 15 billion, if he can build up $1 billion fortune in 15 years, what's our excuse? What's your excuse? What's my excuse? And if he can build a 15, I keep saying a $15 billion. If he can build $1 billion fortune in 15 years, then I'm sure we can build $1 million fortune in 15 years. And now, a couple things that it talked about that he did, which I found very, very interesting, is that um number one, he was work all the time. He was 24/7 on. And he ended up after he made quite a bit of money, he ended up marrying not a socialite, but a woman who was I think an editor for the New York Post, of their gossip column. So she was kind of like in tune with all the Hollywood elite people, and then he got involved in that crowd, and then he ended up still building his fortune, but he kind of slowed down after that. But that was after he made his money, and when he was building it, he was on 24/7. He wasn't, goofing off and didn't have hobbies. It even talked about how it was his hobbies were work. And I always hate the thing when people talk about, work being their hobby, and because we're gonna wrap. This is gonna be a real short video, but we're gonna wrap it on this. We all, I believe and I don't believe we all have the same 24 hours, right? Yes, we all have the same 24 hours. You, me, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, Ron Perlman, right? But where it differs is that once you get the ball rolling, you start building up that fortune, you get a nest egg, all of a sudden it changes to where you can get more done, you can accomplish more in a year than someone else takes 2 years or 5 years. And I think that's where we need to get. That's where we need to get, where we could start accomplishing more in 12 months, like for example in 2025, than someone else might accomplish in the next 3 years. And then, go forward from that, maybe accomplish a year after that more than someone might accomplish in 5 years. And we'll go in depth on a future video on Ronald Perlman, because there's some interesting aspects of that book. But the main question is if he can build $1 billion fortune in 15 years, what's our excuse? And I think we can build a fortune in 15 years.